NBA Straya, how are you going? How you going? You're right, you should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Tuesday, and as we call it here at NBA Straya, it's fuck around Tuesday. Well, I think it's actually meant to be in and out Tuesday, the quickest show that we do. It is Tuesday, January 21. I'm your host, James Clements. You can see me on NFL Straya, the panel, the official NBL Supercoach show. You can also see me on the AFL Today show, which will be back very, very soon, which is very exciting. I'm here in the fancy studios, the Sports Today studios, just to wrap up your day of NBA action. That's what we do here. We've got the halfway mark awards as well, and we're going to pick and preview the games tomorrow, and that's it. We do that on Tuesdays, just a really quick one. We'll still have That's on the Knife, Old Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Than Lonzo Ball, but that'll be it. So, good one, just because we're chockers on Tuesday. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. So, we're going to do the quick ones. All right. Basically, it's also so I don't get stabbed by Old Mate. It's like, she's like, where have you been? I'm like, recording. She's like, stab. You're like, yeah, I probably deserve that. All right, let's get into it. Episode 1190 of NBA Straya. Oh, let's go.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gay.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
Hi, this is Ryan Brockhoff.
This is Mitch Creek. This is Nick Kay.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the Shaq attack.
Wow, you better. Especially if you're Kenny the Jet Smith. Shaq just put a giant chunk of ice in his car the other night. So, brutal. I also love it. Shaq just got busted because there's actually security camera footage of him putting this giant chunk of snow and ice in Kenny's rental car. And he's like a little kid that got caught out. He's just like, Chuck, I don't know what to do. It's like when you bust the bait. So, squid number 2. He is an absolute mad dog compared to his older brother, right? So, he's 2. The older one just turned 6. And squid number 2, he is like way cheekier, if that makes sense, right? He will just fuck shit up just because. And it's kind of funny, right? And if you bust him, he just starts crying and like pancakes himself. He like pretzels himself. He like folds himself over, or head almost on the floor. He's a mad dog. It's very funny. That was kind of like what Shaq was doing. Anyway, let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Straya with the daily. It's a whip around on NBA Straya. That's what we do. It's a daily whip around. A bit of news. Joel Embiid in a surprise twist. He's still hurt. So apparently participated in practice, bit of on-court workout, and his knee's blown up again. So he's going to be reevaluated in another 7 to 10 days. By that point, it'll be the trade deadline, essentially. We're like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. And I mean, he'll have to recuperate. He's not playing bloody back-to-backs anyway. This is fine, he says, as everything's burning down behind him. The Sixers are cooked. Like, it's over. The season's done. I yelled about this on the standings check the other day, but they're done. Pack her up, boys. Daryl Morey on your bike. Oh, but he's such a great GM. He's never won a title. None of his teams have even made the bloody finals. What are we doing here? Sixers, house of cards. Speaking of actual injuries that matter to actual contenders, Adonde DiVincenzo. So, Minnesota Timberwolves are averaging over 17 points a game. A vital cog to making that Wolves team work is out indefinitely. To the point where I need a second opinion because it might be a season-ending toe injury for Donte DiVincenzo, which sucks because the Wolves are this close, I reckon, going in a tailspin. It's like only because Naz Reid were they in that game. Well, Naz Reid and Ant-Man. But no one else is doing jack on that team, right? Like Julius Randle sucked today. You've got Jaden McDaniels. He's forgotten how to play basketball. Mike Conley's older than Methuselah. The big That's a big drop. Rudy Gobert is Rudy Gobert, the Stafford Tower. I don't know how to shoot. And they stink. Yeah. And now they don't have Dante. Draymond. He's not French, but Draymond Green. If he was French, he'd just be sitting there punching himself in the face. That bloke hates Eastern Europe, or Europeans in general. European big man, got to punch him in the head. Draymond, he's out at least another week with his calf strain. And the Warriors got pumped today by the Celtics. And wow, do they need him back. Bruce Brown. So, as I mentioned, the trade deadline's coming up end of the first week of February, right? So, you'll hear a lot more sort of finagling chatter around there. One of the big names is obviously Bruce Brown, the urban cowboy. I don't know if you've seen the photos of him, but he dresses like a cowboy. I want somebody else. Russell Westbrook, start dressing like an astronaut, please. It's awesome. Hey, man, I just feel comfortable. All right, you dressed like a cowboy. You live in Toronto. What are you doing? Idiot. That's great. Do your own thing. But if a trade doesn't happen for Bruce Brown, it does feel like the Raptors might buy him out. And apparently, he will be very, very highly in regard. The problem is, if you're one of those tax apron teams, and if the player who has been bought out is making more than $12.4 million a year, the league average, if you're above the apron, you can't sign them. So if someone's been bought out of a contract that pays them more than 12.4 mil, you have to be below the tax apron. Now, this is very tricky and very interesting for some of the contenders, because this is where you might see a little bit of like Denver, for instance, who would love to have Bruce Brown back, right? The Lakers would love to have Bruce Brown. Teams like that might just get into a bit of salary shedding mode, ? Maybe, just to sort of go and get a couple of buyout guys. Now, buyout guys, for me, always a bit overrated because they never actually tend to really swing a title race. But Bruce Brown, if he goes back to Denver, look out. Don't mind that. But yeah, they'd have to get under the tax apron. So, bit of a weird one. Lakers obviously thrown around there. Some interesting gear in general, but there you go. Keep an eye on Bruce Brown as we get to the trade deadline. On top of this, the dunk comp. We've got 2 confirmed contestants for the dunk comp. A couple of rookies. Stephon Castle, love it. Super crazy athletic point guard for their San Antonio Banderas Spurs. And the other one is Matas Buzelis. I was saying Buzelis. At which point he then completely fluffed a dunk today of his own volition, where he sort of rejected it out of the basket because he tried to dunk it too hard. You're like, yeah, you're the guy who just announced he's in the dunk comp, right? Bloody hell, Buzelis, what are you doing? Either way, that's okay, but I don't like it. That's 2 rookies. I get that this is how you make your bones as an NBA player. This is how you get a bit of name recognition. You go on the dunk comp. 2 rookies in the dunk comp, though, is too much. 1 is fine. We can't have 2. We can't have 2. You need established cool names to make the bloody dunk comp actually special and good. But everyone in the NBA is a bloody coward and they don't want to go there. Oh, I missed out on the dunks. Now I'm getting dunked on online by Shaq. Grow a pair, you sooks. Bloody hell. Anyway, let's do some game wraps really quickly. Game wraps. Game wraps. Today. So there's 8 games today. I only read out 5 yesterday, I realized, but I did the rest of them on the drop-off playoff picks this morning. So the drop-off picks this morning. So we got hammered by the picks today. It was just all over the shop. So a bit of MLK Junior Day. And because of the, the orange Mussolini or inauguration and stuff, and the fact that the college football playoff championship game was today, usually the NBA plays like a shit ton of games on the same day, right? For MLK Day. It's like a public holiday in some states, etc. And today they did 8. And you're like, oh, that's not enough. Anyway, still some good games. We had some early ones too because they play during the day, etc. So Dallas got beat by Charlotte. Sure, 110-105. What the hell happened? Well, They got 31 and 15 from Dan, please don't trade me Gafford. And they got 33 from Kyrie. Unfortunately, they got nothing from anybody else. Seriously, 6 of 32 from downtown. They had 14 turnovers. They were horrible. LaMelo rips off a 23, 7 and 9. They got Mark Williams firing 13 and 13. That prick Miles Bridges at 23 and 5. But importantly, Nick Smith Jr. came from nowhere and had 19 points for the Hornets. And they just snuck out the win. So Dallas now dropped to 23 and 20. It is getting a little bit dire for the Mavs, just saying. And Charlotte moved to 11 and 28 because I said yesterday they cooked without Brandon Miller, and of course they turned around and beat the Mavs. We got the Thompson twins battle. How good was this? Orsar versus Amen today in Detroit, in Houston. And Detroit back above 500 with a big win over the Rockets, 107-96. Jock came back as well. I'll talk about that in the Australian Player Watch. But this was a huge win for Detroit. Like, they got off to a flyer, made Houston chase them down, and Houston on a back-to-back just couldn't quite get there. They shot 39% from the floor. Jalen Green turned back into a spud. He had 19 points and 8 of 21 shooting and 5 turnovers. LP Şengün got demolished by Jalen Duren. That's not a sentence you should be saying. He had 11, 8, and 5, but blocked. Fred VanVleet had 20 and 6 steals, but nah, they were just cooked. Detroit had 22 turnovers and still kicked their ass. It was amazing. Cade goes off at 32, 9, and 7, and 10 of those 22 turnovers. He shot 12 of 22, 3 of 5 from downtown. Jalen Duren was awesome, 16, 14, 3 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. Weapon, love it. Beasley had 17 off the bench. Orsar versus Amen, though. This is what we're here for, right? So Orsar has 11 and 9 with a block. Amen Thompson has 17, 6 and 5 with 3 steals and shot 7 of 14. But still, Detroit get the win. They're now 22 and 21, back above 500. Houston, 28 and 14. Minnesota fell short against Memphis. Memphis came flying back in this fourth quarter. Minnesota just fell apart. There is something stank-a going on in Minnesota. This was an amazing win for Memphis. They're down 15. Well, they got 15 from Triple J in the fourth quarter. He crushed it. They outscored them 37-30. They had this 11-0 run to get ahead. And this is like one of the big things that I bang on about on NBA Straya is you expend that much energy trying to get a lead. If you actually get your nose in front, it's amazing, but it's also really fucking hard to maintain. And they did it. It was amazing from Memphis. Ant-Man misses a 3 at the end. They inbound it with like 5 seconds left into the backcourt. And he's like sort of going the wrong way. He has to take this big 27-footer over 2 dudes. Missed. Game over. Memphis win. Ant-Man has 32, 4, and 3 with 5 turnovers. They get 29 from Naz Reid. Everybody else was shithouse. Minnesota is fucked. They need to play jingles way more. Memphis, Ja had 19 on 5 of 16 shooting. Not a great night, but still. Triple J had 24 and 11. Desmond Bane had 22, 6, and 5. They moved to 28 and 15. They rule. I love the Grizz. Minnesota 22 and 21, and just, what is this team? Atlanta went to MSG and got their ass beat. No, 119-110. This was a tough one for the Hawks. Cat came back for the Knicks. The Hawks started on Onyeka Okongwu and sent Clint Capella to the bench. Kind of worked, but wasn't quite enough. Jalen Johnson was back. He had 11 and 12. Trey goes 27 and 6, but he shot 8 of 22. He had 9 turnovers and 6 assists. That's probably what cost him the game. I'll tell you that much. DeAndre Hannah had 22. Dyson Daniels, talk about him later, but 3 more steals for the Great Barrier Thief. Brunson, though, put on a show. 34 and 6. Mikal Bridges had 26. Campaign was like the difference. He hit 3 threes and like changed the vibe of the game for the Knicks. They run away with it. They're now 28 and 16. Atlanta, 22 and 20. And this is why I think I sort of, in the power rankings we're going to have out this week, like they're fine-ish, maybe. Just give us some consistency, Atlanta. And it's a good win for the Knicks. Not a good day for Phoenix. They got their heads kicked in by Cleveland. Cleveland 118-92. This was an ass kicking. Cleveland smoked him in the second quarter, ran away with it. Booker and KD could not get it going, and there's nothing else on this team if they can't get it going, is there? No, Jim, there's not. They took 77 total shots in a game in 2024. Boston are like, we could fucking take 77 threes. Check this out. But Phoenix, they had 17 turnovers, got out-rebounded 50 to 34. Block. Just brutal gear. So they start Nick Richards, and you're like, hooray, Nick Richards, the savior. He had 4 and 4 in 22 minutes. Yeah, not great. Devin Booker, 6 of 14 for his 15 and 4. He had 6 turnovers, though. Gross. 23 and 7 for KD, but this team is just, yeah. Brad Beal, $50 million buys you 25 minutes and 5 points. Brad Beal might be the worst, most overpaid player in the NBA. He is absolutely abysmal. He's horrible. He stinks. It's atrocious. Sucked in Phoenix. Cleveland go 19 to 26 from downtown. That is just ridiculous. Is that right? 19 to 46. I was going to say 19 to 26 is taking the piss. Donnie has 33, 5 and 5. Absolutely shredded. Garland? Yeah. Darius Rucker, Judy Garland had 16 and 7. No Mobley. No problems. They rolled. Maxi Strus hit 3 threes. Go the throw. Jared Allen had 12 and 11. Cleveland moved to 36 and 6. Poor Phoenix. Ooh-wee. 21 and 21. Boston kicked the shit out of the Warriors, 125-85. That's right. A 40-point loss at home for the Warriors. That is their worst home loss since 1985. This was an absolute ass-kicking. One starter for the Warriors made it to double figures. It was Steph. Everybody else was horrible. They shot less than 35%. They had 12 turnovers. They shot 26% from 3. Pack her up, boys. The Warriors are cooked. 18, 3 and 4 for Steph. He went 6 of 16, 4 of 12 from downtown. No one else did jack. Boston, 20 of 48 from downtown. I think I couldn't type today because that says 20 of 28, and that's not right. It might be 20 of 58. No, 20 of 48. That's good. 22, 9 and 7 for Tatum. JB had 17. Extreme Zingamil had 18 and 7 as well. Good game for him. Just a nice little 22-minute run. But they got 11 from Hauser with 3 threes. Peyton Pritchard knocked in 14. He was a plus 24. They just kicked the obliterating shit out of the Warriors, who were just horrible. Andrew Wiggins is going to pop up again in a second. He was unbelievably bad. Moses Moody went 5 of 13. Steve Kerr's like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's a lot harder to coach when you don't have Kevin Durant and everybody in there like prime and being awesome. Boston at 30 and 13. Golden State 21 and 21. Oh, the Jazz and Pelicans played a really fun game. Are you sure, Jim? Yes, it was very fun, actually. The Jazz were up 25. And the Pelicans won in overtime. 123-119. The Yaz. It's a soft J. It was an amazing comeback by the Pels, led by CJ McCollum. They desperately needed to win. Like I said this on yesterday's show, right? The Pelicans are like whatever. They're now like 12 and bloody 32, 20 games under 500. But they're good-ish if they're healthy. DeJounte Murray, they didn't even have Zion in this game and they still came back and won this. Keontae George had 23 and 7. Isaiah Collier had 20 points. Walker Kessler had 19 and 13. Shvi Mihailuk had 19 and 4 made threes. But the Pels, CJ, they just went, CJ, bring us home. And he's like, no problem, boys, I got you. 45, 8 and 4. Unreal game for him. DeJounte Murray almost a triple-double, 26, 9 and 11, 24 for Trey Murphy. And Jordan Hawkins went 3 of 3 from 3 for free for his 18. New Orleans, 12 and 32. Utah, 10 and 31. And then finally, Chicago with a huge upset win over the Clippers, 112-99. Absolutely incredible game. The Clippers just weren't awake. It's like, yeah, I get that you played the Lakers yesterday, but dude, the Bulls are horrible. What are you doing? And the Bulls, like, just had a really good Giddey game, almost a triple-double. The Clippers just couldn't hit a shot. Norm goes 27 points, takes, shot 9 and 22. Harden, fat man who barely clan, was horrible, 17 and 10, but he shot 5 of 17 and 3 of 13 from downtown. Oh, boys, I don't think I can be bothered today. The big problem for the Clippers was they didn't have Zoobs, so he got hit in the eye, and he didn't play this game, so it was Mo Bamba time. He had 10 and 7, not bad. And he got 12 and 6 from Derek Jones Jr. No Kawhi. Because it was a back-to-back. And he's like, nah, not on my contract. KPJ goes 1 of 10. Brutal. But the Bulls, awesome game for Zachy Cakes, Adam Levine. Just a bit of an audition out there in LA, I reckon. What do you reckon? That's how it works in LA, isn't it? 35 for him. 5 of 12 from deep. You had the 18, 10, and 9 from Josh Giddey. An offensive explosion. He was absolutely unreal was the mop top Mamba. He got 14 and 8 and 4 from Vooch. And then 18 from THT off the bench. And they just curb stomped him. Like defensively, they were flying around. They had a quick little minute there at the end where it's like looking a little bit wonky. They got it back to 10 with like 3 and a bit minutes to go. No problems. Gidd's hit a nice little runner off the bloody glass. Hit a couple of free throws. Off you go. Chicago, much need to win because they're now 19 and 25. They're still shit, but this was a huge win. Clippers dropped to 24 and 18. All right, let's do an NBA Straya approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Well, Donnie Mitchell was good, 33, 5 and 5, and an absolute dismantling of the Suns. Just an absolute throw your log on the table and go, fuck you, Devin Booker. But this goes to CJ McCollum. The Pelicans should have lost that game. They were down 25 points. That is a franchise record comeback for the Pels. And he ripped off 45. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 18 of 31 from downtown, 5 of 13 from 3, and 3 blocks. What the hell, CJ? It was an awesome game. Hit some huge shots to keep them in it and then get them into like a proper groove in the overtime. And he and DeJounte Murray, when they're both actually playing and both healthy, and they've got Jordan Hawkins and they've got Trey Murphy, it just kind of sings a little bit sometimes. They just need Zion to play more, and they'll be good. Anyway, CJ McCollum, that was unreal today. Josh Giddey, honorable mention as well, with the almost triple-double. How about a Spud of the night?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
Spud of the night. We'll start off with KPJ. Kevin Porter Jr. is 1 and 10. Brutal. Absolutely brutal for the Clippers. You get that on the big jobs, though, with Kevin Porter Jr. because he's Kevin Porter Jr. You got to let him be Kevin Porter Jr. He's going to throw some soup at your head, and he's going to throw in 1 of 10 shots. That's what he does. He's not here to fuck spiders. But then, can we go with the Minnesota Timberwolves Hall of Fame? Andrew Wiggins, 1 of 11. Block. Julius Randle, 2 of 13. 13! 0 of 7 from downtown for his 5 points today in a game they lose by 2. And then Karl Anthony Towns. Look, this is a bit tougher. He went 5 of 18, did Cat. Coming back from his injury, he looked rusty. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, but hit a huge 3 to get them back up 10 against the Hawks anyway. So he doesn't really deserve to be there. But I just like that it was like Andrew Wiggins, former Wolf. Julius Randle, current Wolf. Karl Anthony Towns, former Wolf. All Spuds. All the time. And of course, our good friend, Spencer Dinwiddie. What did he go and shoot, Jim? He did it! He did it! Woo! Yeah! You better believe that Spencer Dinwiddie shot 311. How were they not on UFC 311? What the fuck is Dana White doing? What a shit show. How are 311 not on UFC 311? What a completely missed trick. I'll tell you. Anyway, who was old mate, no mates, however?
Old mate, no mates.
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 Who's got no mates today? Steve Kerr got completely blanked by Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum after the game today where they kicked the fuck out of him by 40. You might remember why. He didn't have Jaylen Brown on Team USA and he barely played Jason Tatum. They fucking hate that dude. That is awesome. That is, we're not your fucking mate. Piss off, dickhead. Some vibes. Also, this is a bit of a combo of the pantsing of the night as well as a bit of an old mate, no mates. Bit of a pantsing of the night. As I mentioned, Buzelis, like, fluffing his own dunk, like, trying to jam it too hard that it blocks itself. Amazing. Absolute self-pantsing. But Anthony Edwards. And so, you know me, I've been a little bit reticent. I was hoping that this would be the absolute fuck you, I am here, I'm a legend Ant-Man year. It hasn't quite been it, and it's frustrating, but he's now 0 of 12 on go-ahead or game-tying field goal attempts in the final 5 seconds of fourth quarter or overtimes for his entire career. 0 of 12! 0 of 12! That's the second most misses without a make by any player since he entered the NBA. And only LeBron has more attempts without a make in that span. 0 of 19. Jesus. There. Ant-Man and LeBron. Not good, apparently. But definitely old mate, no mates. Finally, better than Bronny James.
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. We're coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Lonzo started off his game pretty badly. 10 minutes, 0 of 4. He finished with 5 points. Today's better than Lonzo Ball, better than Bronny James, is Baylor Shireman, who set a career high with 5 points for the Boston Celtics. He hit back-to-back shots, and he had 5 points. That was equal to what Lonzo got today. But Lonzo shot 2 of 9, so Baylor better than Lonzo. There you go. That's a good one. I know there's a bunch of other ones that you could have sort of thrown out there. Kobe Brown went 2 of 4. He had 5 points as well, 4 assists in that same game. But yeah, Baylor Shireman, good to see you out there. Baylor Shiningman. Yeah, why not? All right. But we'll take a quick break and come back with the halfway mark awards right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Giddey.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening
Straya.
to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right. We've got a bunch of yeah-nahs that have been sent in, but we'll do those tomorrow because we've got the quick show today. Some really good ones too. So keep sending them in. I will read them and answer them to the best of my ability, which might be shit, but like, again, the best ability is availability, and I am available. Let's do it. The unpopular opinion of the day. Look at me, look at me, look at me. The halfway mark awards. I just want to quickly hit on these ones and just like have them written down so I sort of don't forget. MVP, I think it's SGA. Is the best player on the best team, and he's averaging 31.5 points a game. That's equal with Giannis for top of the NBA. But I feel like it's his defense that sets such an amazing tone for that OKC team, right? He does it on both ends. You see their post-game interviews. Everyone fucking loves each other. He's so super Canadian that he's like very demure in like the way he goes about it. He's not an absolute dickhead. So it's pretty good. Like he plays on both ends. He's a weapon and his team kicks ass, and it's because of him. Like he is the straw that stirs that drink to such a degree and sets such a tone that they're kicking ass and taking names and fucking just destroying teams. So for me, SGA at the moment, it's because Jokic had a couple of weird games there a couple of weeks ago, sort of dropped off. He had a good weekend, just passed, missed a couple of games as well. So I got Jokic second. He's still doing very well. He's averaging 30 points a game as the Joker. What are we doing here? He's averaging a 30.1 point, 13.2 rebound, 9.9 assist, almost triple-double, which is fucking absurd. But SGA's been a little bit better, and his team's been better because of it. And then I've got Giannis third, because Giannis has been absolutely fucking stellar. And no one's kind of been talking about it. I keep yelling about this. Giannis has been fucking unreal this year. He's averaging 31.5 points a game, 12 rebounds and 6 assists, shooting 60.5% from the floor. He's cut the three basically out of his game. He's just fucking smashing it. He's just gone, what? A 33, 11, and 13, 26, 11, and 4, 35, and 13, 34, 15, and 6. Just taking the piss, mate. I mean, not bad. Yeah, his three-point attempts is 0.7 so far this season. So, good job, Giannis. Good job. They're the top three. SGA, Joker, Giannis. At the halfway mark, I'm giving it to SGA. I mean, if you want to expand it out to top 5, it gets a bit trickier. You're probably going to throw Tatum in there at 4. Probably. He's sort of doing a little bit of everything, and probably Donnie Mitchell at 5. Like, You could even have Donnie ahead of Tatum, but that's probably who rounds out the 5 for me. Rookie of the year at the moment, I'm giving that to Stephon Castle. He is like, because he's on San Antonio, no one fucking pays attention. It sucks. He's awesome. Next time you watch San Antonio, watch Stephon Castle. He's a weapon. As I've said time and time again, he gets to spend an entire year at Chris Paul's point guard academy for guys who want a point guard good. It's unreal. What a legend. Alexander Sarr has been better of late. He's at number 2 for me, ahead of Yves Missy, and then probably Kalal Ware, and then probably Bob Carrington. I don't know. It is a rough rookie class. We talked about Zachary Rissache the other day and how no one fucking talks about him. And it's because he's not very good, and they don't really need him to be that good because the Hawks team is probably... I mean, if he came in and was fucking awesome, the Hawks ceiling would be fucking through the roof. But he's fine. Like, he's not shit. He's just fine. They need him to be better, though. Sixth man of the year, that's Peyton Pritchard. Probably ahead of Russell Westbrook, but he's probably started too many games at this point. So probably Santi Aldama. Maybe Brad Beal gets in there for this one as well. But probably Naz Reid is still there in that sixth man, probably in third for me. Defensive player of the year, I'm giving this to Dyson ahead of Wemby because we're a Dyson Daniels podcast. It's what we are. We are Dyson Daniels backers. Wemby 2, Triple J 3rd. Most improved player, Dyson Daniels. What did I just say? But seriously, he has been, like, from an also-ran throw-in of a DeJounte Murray trade, going from, 7 minutes here and there for the Pelicans to playing like 35, 40 minutes a game, leading the league in steals, just kicking the fuck out of the deflections record. He's awesome. And he's just improved his game dramatically to the point where the Hawks are relevant again after looking completely fucking lost the last 2 years. So give me Dyson Daniels. Jalen Johnson, number 2. He's another very good Hawk. And Norm Powell at number 3. And coach of the year, I'm going to give that one to Kenny Atkinson. He's got that Cleveland team singing. And Mark Daigneault for OKC at number 2. Number 3, Ime Udoka, because he's whipped that Houston Rockets team into shape. There you go. There's the halfway mark awards from NBA Straya. All right, let's take a quick break. Come back with Australian Player Watch right after, let's say, this one.
This is Matthew Delvedova, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, time for NBA Straya's Australian Player Watch. It was a big one today as well. Tuesday, January 21. Had a few of the Aussies in action. We'll start at the end, shall we? Josh Giddey in a big win over the LA Clippers. Gids got out there, almost ripped off his 3rd triple-double for the season, his 14th overall. He played 40 minutes, ended up with 18 points. Not bad. We were talking about this yesterday, quite literally. He had been in a bit of an offensive slump. He was much better today because he went 7 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, nailed a couple of very nice clutch free throws late as well for the Bulls. Ends up with 10 rebounds, 9 assists. So close. I'm not saying that he got dogged by THT, Taylor Horton-Tucker, on the last possession the Bulls had offensively, but he also got dogged by THT, just saying. He also had 2 turnovers, but had 1 steal. He was a plus 17. He was fantastic. Well done, Gids. That's a huge bounce-back game. Now, Josh Green, and a huge win over the Mavs. His Charlotte Hornets got a huge win. He played 27 minutes. He had 4 points, 1 of 6 from the floor. Brutal. 0 of 4 from downtown. Brutal. 2 of 2 at the line, though. But 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Not bad from Greeny for that Hornets team. On the flip side, obviously still no Dante Exum for the Mavs. They desperately needed him today as well because they looked completely lost. Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, in a very tough loss to the New York Knickerbockers of New York City. Trae Young couldn't, capture that magic in MSG, and Dyson played 31 minutes. He had 10 points. He went 5 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 1 from downtown. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and of course, for your NBA steals leader, 3 steals. That's his average. He also had a block and 3 turnovers. Jingling Joe Ingles did not play coach's decision against the Memphis Grizzlies in a 106-108 loss. I'm just saying, Wolves, play Jingles, win the game. There's a direct correlation. Come on. But the good news for the Aussies as well, Jock Landale today was back from his personal reasons, leave away from the team. And with Steven Adams dealing with a migraine for the Rockets, the big man, Jock, got the call up. So he played 10 minutes in their loss to Detroit, 107-96. But he got 6 points, 2 of 5 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds, and a steal. Not bad. And that was all of the Aussies in action today because we had, no Portland games. Luke Travers is still out with an ankle injury, didn't get out there for Cleveland in their big win. And Jack McVeigh still down in the G League on his two-way. So there you go. That is the Aussie Player Watch with NBA Straya for today. Make sure you subscribe to the daily podcast. All right, and there you go. That is the Australian Player Watch. How about we get into a bit of the Paddy Mills Game Day, Baller Game Day Twitter check-in before we do some previews and get out of here. And just bloody get out of your hair. What do you think? Paddy Mills, has he tweeted anything, something on Instagram? Oh, there's a Giddey update. Giddey up date. Back on the winners list at Zach Levine. Oh, that's nice. Where's he watching that? Or is he just, sure, on the TV, Zoe's doing a very funny face next to Levine. So I'm happy that Josh is happy, friend of the program, Josh Giddey, and that they're doing good stuff. Well done, Bulls. I'm just sick of being disappointed. They annoy the crap out of me. All right, let's do some game previews for Wednesday. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Pain. Not a problem, Jim. How's it going? Oh, good. We're just a bit crunched for time on the Tuesdays. It happens. It's all right. We've only got 2 more bloody NFL Australias anyway before our Super Bowl party. Monday, February 10 at the Catfish in Fitzroy. If you're around and you're up for a bit of smashing a million beers. That's what we do every year on NFL Australia. We have a big Super Bowl party at the Catfish in Fitzroy. Best place to watch the Super Bowl in all of Melbourne. If you're up for it, come and smash some tins with us. Me and Gaz. It'll be very fun. All right. Tomorrow's games. Let's do it. We have the New York Knickerbockers of New York City on a back-to-back. Having just played Atlanta, the thing is they go across a bridge because they're playing in Brooklyn. They are 10.5-point favorites against the horrible Brooklyn Nets. We are taking the Knickerbockers to smash the Nets because, look, Mikal Bridges, bit of a revenge game against his old muckers, but also the defense the Knicks play, this Nets team just, even if Ben Simmons, even if D'Lo are playing, even if Cam Johnson's playing, I still trust this Knicks team just to put the clamps on them and just ruin their shit. So we're going to go the Knicks minus 10.5. I'll just check that these lines are still bang on. Yep. Then we have Portland in Miami as 10.5-point underdogs, which is a bit much if you ask me, just because Miami, as bad as Portland have been at times, Portland have also shown a few signs of life of late, whereas Miami, they're still dealing with the Jimmy Butler saga. But Portland beat the Bulls at home the other day. They now fly all the way across the country, which is probably the longest trip in the NBA from Miami to Portland. And, the Heat did a pretty good job dismantling the Spurs. They did lose to the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Clippers before that. They beat the Spurs by 21 after a huge turnaround in that game. Remember, they were down 30-20 after the first quarter. Portland putting up a little bit of fight of late. But when they do lose, they tend to lose big. So we might have to go the Miami Heat at home. Minus 10.5. It does feel like too much though, doesn't it? I don't know. I just don't trust those Portland big men to be able to contain Bam and Khalil Ware. If Jimmy Butts plays, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, I'm going to go Miami. Orlando! They go to Toronto and they are 3.5-point favorites in Canada. This is what Orlando needs. They need a get-right game. They need we're trying to figure out how to play with Paolo Banchero again. Can we figure this out? If you play against Toronto, you've probably got a good chance of actually doing that. So they've lost 3 straight, but they've played the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Nuggets. So getting a game against the Raptors will feel pretty good. Remember, they beat the Sixers last week by 5. So, look, the Raptors haven't been absolute easy beats of late. They beat the Warriors and the Celtics in those incredible back-to-back games and then got their heads kicked in by Milwaukee. So I think Orlando can win this one. We're going to go Orlando minus 3.5. Big Paolo game incoming. Philly go to Denver. No Joel Embiid. presumably you've got Maxey. They are 13.5-point underdogs in Denver. And we know that Denver and Joker loved kicking the shit out of Embiid. They've been doing pretty well as well of late. The Nuggets have won, 6 of their last 7. They should win this one pretty handily. They beat the Heat by 20. They beat the Magic by 13 on that Floridia road trip. Can they do it again? Can Philly actually stand up in Denver? I don't know. They got demolished by the Bucks in Milwaukee. Denver, I just don't know about it, but the Sixers, the bottom is falling out of it. I'm going to go Denver. Ooh, actually, no, screw it. Philly plus 13.5. Keep it close. Maxey should go off. Let's go. And then finally, Lakers at Washington. Oh, Washington at Lakers. 13.5-point favorites there again as well. These are some big numbers. Washington, they're bad. Kyle Kuzma revenge. Jordan Poole hates the Lakers. Interesting. Lakers 13.5-point favorites. LeBron, AD. AD needs a big get-right game. I think if AD plays, he goes bang, and I think the Lakers cover that 13.5. And that should be a pretty cracking day. We've got those 5 games. We'll wrap all those up for you tomorrow, and we'll also answer a bunch of those yeah-nahs. So if you've got any other yeah-nahs, send them through. I've got a whole bunch of them there. That'll be a fun one. All right. Sound good? So New York over Brooklyn, Miami over Portland, Orlando over Toronto, Philly to cover against Denver as they get their heads kicked in. And the Lakers, that's a tricky one against Washington, but Washington just roll over so easily. The way they got just curb stomped by Sacramento in the fourth quarter the other day was, so let's go Lakers minus 13.5. All right. And we will speak to you tomorrow, you dickheads. We'll be back on deck to wrap up all those games. In the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. I'm in the fancy studio, so it looks awesome. Go check it out on YouTube. Subscribe there. Set your alerts so you get all the notifications when we, get the show up. Get around NFL Australia as well with myself and Gaz. That has just gone up today as well. That was a fun episode, chatting out all the divisional round games. NFL Championship round is absolutely psycho. Cannot wait for that this week. Check us a rating, review on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever app you use on your Android phone. Get around our other shows as well. Cricket Today podcast. The boys are all over the end of the BBL season. They got the finals coming up. It's going to be chaos and into the test against Sri Lanka. So if you're into your Cricket Today podcast. Football Today podcast and hold all tickets if you like your GGs. And as I've said, AFL Today show coming back way too soon. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So do House Hats, Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, iOS, Section Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on this show, so smash them on all the places you follow bands and listen to tunes, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. Buy their shit, would you? NBA Straya Sports Australian band, so should you. And that is it for today. We will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads, for a hump day edition of NBA Straya. It's NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would you? And little Hosanna!